Live streaming is the thing. So, okay, we live. I'll put that up over here. I really miss when I could have Streamlabs back so I could live stream my computer and that. Like, I can't wait. I applied again. I'm like, hopefully they'll give me access. I want to do what you're doing, go live on different platforms, capture leads, book appointment. Surprisingly enough, Home Loan Hero, it's actually because I'm like, I saw your comment and this is actually totally relevant to you. And so tomorrow I have to give a presentation. This is the part two of a five-part series on how to use AI for the real estate industry niche. And so we successfully did part one last week. I'm actually going to put the video on my YouTube channel. I am so behind on content. I have the whole webinar. It's actually, if you want to see the slides, it's actually really dope. Where's my Canva. So this was the whole presentation. It was like pretty much that goes over. If you guys know my regular presentation, it's about 70% the same of my presentation, more or less. So that's this presentation. So tomorrow, so bouncing off with the Loan Hero sales, he's like, I want to do what you're doing, go live on different platforms, talk, take Q&A, capture leads, and book appointments. We're gonna write that down because that is the topic for tomorrow, which is the second part of the AI for real estate. I'm sorry, I'm not talking into the microphone. Is the second part of the AI for real estate agents series, where we're just going to focus for an hour completely on social media, which has to do with going live, going on different platforms, doing Q&A, creating content, talking about TikTok, talking about YouTube, talking about Streamlabs. So that's what I'm going to be talking. So I actually want to write that down. Let me do voice to text because that's actually something super. Just add that note. You want to focus on going live, comma, going live on multiple platforms such as YouTube and TikTok, comma, do Q&A, comma, capture leads, comma, and book appointments. Sorry, using voice to text. Nice. Because that's the other thing too, is like, especially for AI for real estate, basically is learning how to do live streams, how to do, basically you can also see how to stream to multiple platforms. Right now I'm still banned from TikTok letting me know, so I'm like, do you know a voice to text app that has folders? That's a very interesting use case, Nastia. You have to give me a little more. A voice to text that has folders. I mean, there's Apple Notes technically. Apple Notes, I know it's super specific, but since you're inside the ADHD club, so technically Apple Notes has text to voice, which will also do text to voice to text, or voice text to, yeah, if that makes sense. So I mean, I think Apple Notes is really what you're looking for, honestly. But I'm like notorious. I can't stand Apple Notes. It is like, once you go Notion, you're never gonna go back. It's like, I want to be able to categorize your thoughts. Technically, you want. I know now. I know exactly what you're doing. You want. Oh, give me a second. Give me a second. Because yes, you could use Apple Notes fundamentally. It's just, I, yeah, just use Apple Notes, because Apple Notes you can do voice to text, categorize everything in your thoughts, then drop it into you despise. I know I despise recommending it, but it's like, if you want folder, because it's like, because fundamentally you need a voice to text, which is like basically, um, Otter does that, where you could just, like, Otter is probably going to be the best. The apps we hate have everything we have. I know, but it's like super nuanced, because if you want to do voice journals, that, yeah, I think it's Otter, right? And I'm not hesitant to recommend, just because it's expensive too. But if you think about the workflow, like, say, because a lot of people, I used to do that. I would open Otter, and I would just voice talk, and then it would check out Super Whisper. We're gonna check out that from BB, because then from the voice text, once I voice text, then I took the transcription, popped it in ChatGPT, and I said analyze. That was like the best one, for example. So ChatGPT for doing your first TikTok live interview. Oh, let's go, Richard, doing a TikTok live. That's the game. If I can motivate more people to go live, that's content. That's the game. So yeah, so for Nausea, who's trying to voice, to collect her thoughts and then to journal write, for example, I would do Otter, Otter, mainly because it has a great mobile app. I love just opening the mobile app of Otter. I tried to tell you the tool for this, so Whisper is the way. Okay, so let's hold on. We have the community has spoken. Hold on, we're all gonna learn something new. Super Whisper. Use with any app. You can write 3 times faster without lifting a finger. It's on iPhones. Download. Features. It works with any app. Show me a demo.
Hey, I want to show you a demo of Super Whisper using one of its most common use cases, sending email. Let's pop open settings, and we'll check out my email mode. We can see the prompt specifies a few things about how I like to style my emails. It's not too complicated, just a couple of sentences is all it took. Now, we can start a new recording and paste it into Gmail. Hey John, excited about our meeting coming up later this week. I can't believe how much progress you've made on the project. Here's my meeting link, calendar link. You can see here, it's built my greeting line and sign off exactly how I specified in the prompt. And it's
Interesting.
actually inlined my meeting link as well. The language has been mostly untouched, though has been cleaned up and split up.
Yeah, the cleanup is real nice.
I feel like this is good enough to send. We can always access the output in our
Oh, you give it a goal.
And you can actually see and copy to clipboard.
Yo, shout out to Brad in the comments for this. Way to.
This is useful for you, and I hope that you play around with the configuration and get it exactly how you like.
So valuable.
Super painful and time consuming.
Interesting. And then what's the subscription? Voice to text works. Work with any key. Meeting notes and transfer unlimited use of small voice models. So wait, so it's free to Brad with the MVP. This is fascinating because I use voice to text on the iPhone all the time and I love it. But this, like, use it with any app. It's offline. But the fact that it does, it like formats it, because that's actually a thing. It's like super text. That's actually dope. I'm gonna have to save this. Voice to text, because like this. So then, which is cheaper than Otter, because if you think about it, so for helping with nausea, Google says that's 99 one-time purchase. Can see which one is $99 a month, for example. Because this, I mean, if you do $9 a month, that's cheaper than that, and you could do transcription. Because then you could take that text. I've got prompts for emails, brain dumps, diary. It's the diaries part that's the most interesting part. That's the value add right there. To do Otter is $8.99 a month. Oh, nice. Either or, play with both. I would do both to see, because you just need something reliable, text to voice. So try Super Whisper. This is for nausea. And then, do they have an app? Let's find out. They are available on the iPhone store. Well, there you go. And it's free. Super Whisper. What do people say? Just talk, write perfectly, use it with your favorite apps. Everything is saved for later. And it's also on Mac. I can't find it on Samsung. Oh, that's the problem. You're on Samsung. We can't help you on Samsung. It's like, oh no, guess you got to get an iPhone. Come to the dark side. I tell everyone, no PC, no Android. If you want to play with AI, like, but then there's Otter, nausea. There's Otter on Android. So looks like you got an Android Otter. I mean, Otter's gonna be great anyways. I mean, see all the cool thing. Move away from the Microsoft. Like, oh, come to the dark side. The the Jedi powers are so strong here. You will have all the AI powers that you want. It's literally the first slide of my AI like presentation. I'm like, you gotta have a Mac or an iPhone. I'm like, before we get into any of the cool AI stuff, I was like, let's fix the foundation. It is. But for Nazia, who basically, which a lot of people have this, and I used to do this too. You need to do voice dictation for like diary, for notes, for brain dumps. I actually may, because you can't do this with fireflies too, which is super annoying, and I miss it. Because from this with Otter, what I used to do is I'll open the Otter app, I'll go on a walk around the block, and then I would voice dictate like a whole notes, brain dumps, and then when I get home, I would take that transcription, pop it into ChatGPT, and I would say analyze, give me feedback, organize my notes, give me action items. You could create a custom GPT that can automatically do this over and over again. That's actually really powerful. That's actually really powerful. The UI, the Apple UI doesn't work with my brain. Oh, trust Apple's ADHD approved. It's ADHD certified, I would say. So trust. I mean, Android is just, oh my god, that Android. My friends give me their phones, and I'm like, how do you work this thing anymore? Ask it to identify your blind spots from voice notes. Yeah. So voice notes to help Nasia for this. I used to have Apple device, but it's too much for me. I don't know why. It's just it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to like, because you also have to get the Mac too. Like that's where it's like the real power is. You can't have like PC and then iPhone. You have to go all into the app, and don't buy new. Buy all refurbished. Buy old stuff. Buy old refurbished. Don't buy new. You don't need any of that. That's the basic way to go, more or less. So that's, and then I used to have an out. Yeah, that's going to be. But journaling. So here, let's talk about use case right now. I know we're getting distracted from our work, but who cares? Journaling and using AI is super helpful. You have two options. You can use Otter to voice dictate all your notes to it, and then take that, drop it into a GPT. Or you can also, you don't get the transcription part, but you can do the organization part where you could just talk to ChatGPT, and just, if you're going to talk for shorter periods of time. But that's something, because a lot of people use, I mean, to use AI for, because it's not just journaling, it's also like therapy, it's also like life coaching. Like, I'm not gonna lie, life coaches are like, there's another job that's gonna be gone by AI, because why? Like, once you have a custom GPT that knows everything about you and is personalized and tailored to your goals. Is Tom on the call? Tom has a gangster GPT, because Tom had DeepSeek write out his 5-year plan, master plan of how to make $100 million. And then he took that master plan, PDF'd it, and put it in a custom GPT. And now that custom GPT becomes his life coach, where he can meet on it weekly and quarterly, saying, these are the things I'm going to do. Will that get me closer to my goal of making $100 million? I thought that was brilliant. Like, write out, have AI, you can use ChatGPT, Mistral, DeepSeek, it doesn't really matter. Have AI write out all your goals. Like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is where I want to be in the next 5 or 10 years. Can we do the podcast thing again? I was waiting for someone to bring it up. Do you guys want to see the next episode of Tea in Trouble? I saved it too. Tea in Trouble. Everyone else doesn't know what's. Yeah, we're gonna get, if we get to, I'm gonna make the goal simple. 3,000 likes. We'll do another episode of Tea in Trouble podcast, because I really want that to be a thing. Tom, I'm sharing your strategy of like AI to write out your 5-year goal, and then put that into a PDF, give it to a custom GPT, and then use that custom GPT as basically a life coach to coach you through week by week to see, like, am I progressing? Is this a distraction? Should I be focusing on this? How can I get closer to my goals? Or what should I be working on in projects, kind of thing. I think that's great, like brilliant as like a life coach strategy, like super awesome. By the way, I'm not gonna lie, I'm using the iPhone filter, so like this, and I'm like, Yo, my skin does not look naturally this good. Like this is pure the TikTok filter, and this is a bad addiction. I'm gonna look in the mirror and be like, if any of you guys are wondering, you're like, oh, I wonder his skin's so smooth. I'm looking at him like super annoyed. I'm like, my skin has never been this smooth right now. I'm like, no, these are bad filters. Anyways, we'll do for context for a lot of people. Last night we went deep while I was writing the audiobook. I finished the audiobook. We could actually play with it right now. Why not? And then from here, I use the TikTok filter, and it always throws me off when I look at my right. This is a bad habit that I'm gonna be like. It's just a one time enhance, but this is a slippery slope. So the other thing too, I see the HD on my other camera. I can see my, I can see all my blemishes because that mofo is HD. He will show every nose hair and like blemish and like, cause that camera is sharp. That's a nice photographer camera lens. So it's like, I can't wait till I go back to that lens. And I could get off the phone and go straight back to Streamlabs. Anyways, last night we went deep into two rabbit holes. One, I wrote another audiobook, a 2-hour audiobook. I just have to put music behind it to score it, and then that's good. And then two, while we waited for the audiobook, we had some time to kill, and we had some access to some tokens in 11 Labs. So, and I really wanted to play more with the demonic voice. I know this is like, people are like, what's going on? That's when we created a podcast show together called Tea with Trouble. And I think that, actually, let me read you the custom GPT. We're almost there. 3,000 likes because I saved it, and because I even asked ChatGPT to take the conversations that we had, turn it into a prompt for a show so that I can make new ones. So we'll create a custom GPT. The way it describes the show is like perfect. We're almost there. Teamwork, people. Teamwork. It's gonna be worth it. You're gonna laugh. I've never laughed that hard in such a long time. Oh my god, I was dying. I think I have a 6-pack. Let's go. Okay. ADHD, forget the project. We have more important things. We have to finish the next episode. We're going to be on episode 4 of Tea with Trouble. It's an audio podcast, but let me have ChatGPT describe what it is. And then for nausea, I would just get Otter AI, and then you're good. So let's do this. Oh yeah, this is going to be dope because everything is like about AI. I'm just gonna close. So number one, this is why it's always important to save things in your document files. For example, because here, let's see there, Tea with Trouble. This is how I organize everything I need. So I could pick up exactly where I left off. So meet Tea. Am I zoomed in? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this is Tea with Trouble. Even the graphic is done by. Yeah, the graphic is done by ChatGPT. So if you want to create an audio thumbnail for it, and let me describe the show for a lot of people who are like, what am I looking at? So it's a fictional audio podcast called Tea with Trouble, and it features two main characters. Meet Leela. She's a cheerful, slightly chaotic woman who lives in a state of irrational happiness and blissful ignorance. She's warm, sarcastic, affectionate, and she sees beauty in everything, even in disaster. Think golden retriever energy with a teacup and glitter collection. And then meet Mr. D, or you could call him Lucius, one of the two. Mr. D is dry, sarcastic, eternally exhausted, speaks in a deadpan and sarcasm, has seen it all and hates most of it. A reluctant participant in the podcast, but clearly enjoys Leela's company, even if he'll never admit it. Their chemistry is like an old married couple who bickers constantly. They roast each other with affection and occasionally say something profound in between jabs. Despite being polar opposites, they have a deep and odd friendship that often wait, I'm sitting here like, why am I reading this? Why not just have 11 Labs read this? Like, yeah. Why am I using my human voice to read this? Like, I have the technology to make AI read this podcast. So we're gonna do instant speech. Let's find a good voice to read out the description of this show. We're gonna bring conversational AI.
After all, the most important quality.
Here's to the crazy ones. The misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square hole.
It's not about what we have or what we achieve, but about...
Hey, are you looking...
I think this is a really nice way to just talk naturally together, talk plainly. Let's give it a shot.
Okay. I like the.
After all, the most important quality of speech is that it is clear and understandable. Agree?
By repeating what students say. Download this podcast. Hey, Worldly 11 Labs friends, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. By repeating what students say, teachers can demonstrate that they are listening.
Let's have
By
her.
extending what students say. By repeating what students say, teachers can demonstrate
Okay, I want you. Use.
that they are listening.
How do I try to add to my voices? He did that already exists. So then I want Alexa. So now we're gonna go home. Instant speech. Paste. And then we're gonna change the voice to. Oh,
Find a comfortable place to lie down.
that's Brittany though.
Welcome to the meditation.
Okay, Alexa's
By
here.
repeating what students say,
Okay,
teachers
so
can demonstrate that
we're gonna have her, Alexa, read the description of the podcast show because I need to save my voice.
you are writing scripts for a fictional audio podcast called Tea with Trouble, featuring two main characters. Leela, a cheerful, slightly chaotic woman who lives in a state of irrational happiness and blissful ignorance. She's warm, sarcastic, affectionate, and sees beauty in everything, even in disaster. Think golden retriever energy with a teacup and glitter collection. Lucius, aka the devil.
Hey, Closebot,
Dry,
welcome to the
sarcastic,
chat.
eternally
I know you're like, what is going on here? What's up? We are.
Seen it all and hates most of it.
We're creating a podcast.
In the podcast, but clearly enjoys Lila's
I may
company.
lose my sponsorship after this
Represented
podcast. But just listen.
Roast each other with affection and occasionally say something profound in between jabs. Despite being polar opposites, they have a
What's up,
deep,
Bryce?
odd friendship that often touches on bigger
Oh yes.
tone, casual, witty, layered with sarcasm and warm banter.
We're just,
Mix of silly and thoughtful, touch of dark humor with philosophical reflection.
This is the podcast that we're creating right now. I know.
To explore, rotate per episode.
Okay.
Meaning of life, pain versus
Anyways,
joy,
okay. So
ridiculousness of
I think I
humanity,
still have
friendship,
one of the
regret,
other
memory,
episodes too. So
love,
let's. So for oh man, we are. I'm like. Just got just had a big sponsor come in and then instantly gonna lose them right now. This is gonna be great. This is why I can't have nice things. This is a podcast that we created last night between because we really want to play with 11 Labs and the two opposite of voices, a yoga instructor and a demonic demon, and have them it's just like if you ever watched the movie or show I know trying to describe this without sound psychotic is like wild. Anyways, we wanted to play with these two voices, have them bicker and talk, and then it turned into a show that like I think I have we're on episode 4 right now to catch everyone up. So I saved everything, so let me go to a project here, and then if you go under, I wish it would kind of save your projects though. It doesn't really save it. So but that's okay because I have Notion and I have we can redo all of them technically. I have episode 1, 2, and 3. So let's do episode 1. Let me download this. And you're going to listen to a very short podcast. I mean, each episode, we're trying to get the feel of it being them. They're just such a sweet couple, honestly. Like, I was just dying. I'm like, okay. And then it's going to be Brittany and Mr. D. This is what we use with the most advanced technology known to man. It's gonna do episode. The contrast is so good. It's so good. She's so like relaxed and like blissfully happy, and he's so miserable and like over it and like can't stand her optimism. This is such a great show. And so this is we're using 11 Labs, and we're using the feature of how to create a podcast, which is super interesting because it will take whatever your script is, and then it will create a dialogue naturally between the two characters. I think it automatically kind of detects character A versus character B. It's super fascinating. So we're gonna burn all of my credits. I'm happy to buy more credits for this because this is so dope. Okay. Valley Girl meets aggressive overtone actor. Yes. Okay, so this is episode 1 of Tea with Trouble between Brittany and Mr. D. And I can play the volume max, at least right now, which is dope.
Ever wonder what happens when unstoppable optimism meets the immovable force of evil itself? Well, today's story about a relentlessly positive podcast host interviewing Satan shows us exactly how that plays out.
The dynamic is fascinating. Here's the Prince of Darkness trying every trick, from screaming skulls to whispering mirrors, and she treats it like he's doing her a favor.
And that's what makes this so incredible. When faced with psychological torture, she responds with a haiku. Mirror mocks at night, whispers doubts with devil's charm. Still, I feel so seen. It's like watching someone defeat darkness with a glitter bomb.
So what do you think this tells us about the power of perspective?
Well, look at how she reframes everything negative. When he mentions
so
running
dumb.
therapy in hell, she sees it as helping people. Her philosophy about living in constant, blissful delusion, being like ignorance, but with snacks, might actually be brilliant psychological armor.
That's exactly right. She completely inverts the power dynamic. Instead of cowering, she's treating the devil like a grumpy co-worker who just needs a hug.
You know what's really fascinating? This interview demonstrates how radical acceptance and unwavering positivity can be more disruptive than any form of resistance. I mean, she literally made Satan file a complaint with reality.
Maybe sometimes the best way to fight darkness isn't with more darkness, but with unrelenting light.
That was just episode 1. That's where we were like, what did we just create? So then we could go to episode 2. Because then we started figuring out the structure of basically how we want she's over. Yeah. So now, because then we wanted them to be a little more prolific. So now we're going to upload episode 2 right now. I should probably export that. Oh well. Oh, there's the studio for. Oh, interesting. It does actually save your projects. Because that was my biggest thing. I was like, I want to save these. So export. Okay, so let's see how long this takes, and then we'll do episode 2. Because then we evolved the characters over time. We started making them more of like a couple, which is super interesting. Cool. Okay, that's done. Okay, we got episode 1, and then let's redo the same thing. So podcast, upload. So now we have Tea with Trouble, episode 2, and I can make these a lot longer. So first character is Brittany, which is the host voice. I love how it's like, live moderation is enabled. Generating audio in prohibited categories will be blocked. So people have used Brittany for some very some bad things that they're like, we actually have to have a disclaimer. But the demon monster, they're like, no, do whatever you want. we know what you're gonna be using this for. I feel full focus podcast with key updates for hosts. So interesting. I wonder if it's like summarizing them. I don't want it. I want it conversational, but I do want. Is it gonna rewrite it? That'd be interesting. I want default. Let's go default and then generate, because they are too short. So we do have to figure out how to expand on them, because I do want to make this like a 20-minute podcast. She's oblivious to his darkness, right? This is, yeah, we're just using, technically we're using ChatGPT to write the script, and I have I'm going to build a custom GPT that it knows the style, so the custom GPT will then generate new scripts easier and faster. We just do episode 4, episode 5, and pick themes, and then it'll generate a much longer script. That's what we're gonna do. We're catching up people to episode 3, which is what we created up to last night, and then we're gonna use the new process with the custom GPT to generate episode 4, and I think it's gonna evolve, be much better. So this is what we're using millions of dollars of high-tech technology for our own amusement. I was thinking about avatars, but like I really want people to like close their eyes and just how you imagine a Brittany or Mr. D in your life. I think that is going to be the more interesting thing, because if I do characters, one, it will take longer to like render and like the production process. I want to just rip through podcast episodes like faster and then publish them, because I could automate more or less this workflow per se. Right now it's cooking; it's in the oven, and so and then Bryce, the CEO of CloseBot, the most advanced conversational AI chatbot. So when you're gonna have 11 Labs integration, so that we can have Mr. D answer the text messages or the style. Oh, it's done. Okay, so this is episode 2 between Brittany and Mr. D. Let us enjoy. Get out the popcorn, relax. Nothing else is more important than this right now.
You know what's fascinating about human nature? We'll spend hours debating if a hot dog is a sandwich, but we'll click accept all cookies without reading a single word. Today, we're exploring why we make the strangest choices in life and what that says about all of us.
Well, that's an interesting observation about our selective attention spans. What makes us so particular about some things and completely careless about others?
You know, studies show that the
So
average person
aggressive.
encounters about 1,500 decision points each day, but we only consciously engage with about
He's
35
so
of them.
aggressive.
The rest is all autopilot and gut reactions.
That explains why I found myself eating cereal for dinner last night while organizing my paperclips by size and color.
Oh my
And
goodness.
color.
Speaking of organizing things, let's talk about how we cope with life's chaos. Some people color code their
It's
entire
just
existence,
tense all the time.
while others embrace what I like to call strategic disorder.
Strategic disorder. That sounds like a fancy way of saying, I meant to do that after knocking something over.
Well, research actually suggests that certain types of disorder can boost creativity by up to 35%. It's like our brains get excited by the challenge of making sense of chaos.
So when I saw that kitten in a bee costume sneeze and tumble over, I was actually witnessing a peak moment of creative potential.
Exactly. And you know what's really interesting? Studies show that watching cute animals can improve focus and productivity by up to 44%. So that bee kitten was basically a professional development seminar.
Like how watching cat videos isn't procrastination, it's actually cognitive enhancement.
Well, speaking of cognitive enhancement, let's talk about how we process joy. Recent research indicates that micro moments of joy, like finding money in an old jacket or seeing perfectly organized office supplies, can trigger the same dopamine release as major life events.
That explains why I got emotional over those color-coded paperclips. It was basically like winning a tiny office supply lottery.
You know what's fascinating? Neurologists have found that our brains actually process annoying
you'll
but
learn something
endearing
too.
relationships differently than regular friendships. It's like we develop these special neural pathways just for people who drive us crazy in the best possible ways.
So you're saying our brains literally rewire themselves to appreciate chaos in human form?
Exactly. And get this. Studies show that couples who playfully bicker
Exactly.
actually report higher relationship satisfaction. It's like emotional sparring keeps our connections dynamic and engaged.
That's why those old couples at diners arguing about toast seem so content. They're basically relationship athletes.
Absolutely. And speaking of relationships, research shows that people who embrace their quirks
neurological facts.
and those of others show 40% better stress management. It's like accepting chaos is actually good for our health.
So when we click accept all cookies without reading, we're just practicing radical acceptance.
Well, that's one way to look at it. Those studies suggest we make about 35,000 decisions each day, and around 40% of them are purely automatic responses. We're basically running on autopilot while wearing a convincing human costume.
Like emotions in a trench coat pretending to be rational thought.
Exactly. And here's something wild. Researchers found that our decision-making abilities actually improve when we embrace uncertainty. It's like chaos makes us sharper, as long as we're not fighting it.
That might explain why some of the most successful people have the messiest desks.
Oh, you should see the research on that. Creative geniuses throughout history have been notorious for their cluttered workspaces. Einstein himself said, "If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what, then, is an empty desk a sign?"
That's deep.
So, what you're saying is that my organizational chaos is actually a sign of brilliant potential.
Well, let's
Wow,
wrap this
slow
up
down.
with something really interesting. Scientists have found that our ability to find joy in small moments actually increases with age. It's like we're all slowly learning that life isn't about controlling chaos. It's about dancing with it.
And sometimes that dance involves watching kittens in bee costumes or organizing paper clips.
Until next time, remember that embracing your particular brand of chaos
It's super
might
deep.
just be the most rational thing you can do. And maybe, just maybe, read those cookie policies once in a while. You know, for variety.
We must export this episode 2. And it's actually educational too. Like we all learned about the neural, how your brain wires and seeks chaos and seeks novelty rather than looking for it. This is a new podcast that we have created as a birth child of being born, waiting for an audiobook to be done on last night. We were playing with 11 Labs. So that was episode 2. I'm going to show you episode 3, and then we can start creating new episodes. So we created the because I honestly just want to play with 11 Labs, and then I want to play more with the demonic voice. And then we were looking for voices, and then we found, and it was Megan who was like, "Hey, does it do like yoga voices, like relaxing meditation?" And then we found yoga, and I was like, "Yoga," and Mr. D, the demonic. I was like, well, let's make a podcast show to test out the podcast feature of it. So this is the birth of a new show called Trouble with T. We even did the graphic design. We're moving on this. It's day 2. We're already gonna get to episode 4. So, and it's super deep and prolific too. Like it gets pretty deep. Episode 2 is dope. That was my favorite. And now we're gonna do episode 3. And interesting, it did other stuff too to it, which is interesting based on the style of the audiobook, which is super interesting. The 11 Labs voice average. Yeah, this is all 11 Labs. So if you do podcast, upload your file, episode 3, and then we're doing conversation, and then I'm doing defaults because they were too short last night. You asked for sarcasm inputs. Oh my god, it's like 50 Shades of Darkness, right? We could take this so many fun ways. So then the host is Brittany, and she has a guest, which is Mr. D. And we shall now generate episode 3, and then we're gonna start a new episode and evolve them now, because now the prompt is much better. So we're gonna prompt it. Well, okay, while it's queuing up, let's create the custom GPT. So now, for everyone that went through the custom GPT course, now that you have the skill sets, this is what you're going to be using those skill sets for. Let's review our custom GPT workflow. We're gonna go explore GPTs. Perfect. We're gonna go create. See, all your AI skill sets that you're learning in the community is now paying off for moments like this. All of you guys are trying too hard to try and start a business. It's actually the stuff when you throw spaghetti at the wall that's the most interesting. Okay, so now I have the prompt. So this is the prompt for the show. And then here, which I love the prompt. The style is like really good. So this is ChatGPT. Yeah, you have to have ChatGPT, the $20 a month plan, just to do this feature of building custom GPTs. So I already had ChatGPT turn it into a prompt. So it's going to update it and fill it in. The executive coach David's like, what, John, have you been up to? This is what happens when you leave me alone at night, late at night, and we're waiting for a pizza to cook. Yo, we were productive last night. We wrote a book, a 15-chapter book. We narrated it. We created this series. We illustrated it. We cooked a pizza. Like, it was a productive night last night. So now it's going to write, now it's going to create the thumbnail. Awesome. Actually, that's pretty cool. Actually, I want a devil and a yoga instructor vibe for the image. I'm just here. I want a better image. If I'm going to write with this, I want a better image than that. That's too cutesy. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, I can vibe with that. Okay, so now if we go and configure Tea with Trouble, we have the podcast, we have that. So I'm also going to keep ambient sound in our main conversation. We don't need sounds or intro because I need to structure how I want the prompt to basically be. Oh man, come on. There we go. Okay, so I structure for each episode. I want Leela speaks this you were da. Okay. Da. I also want the user will input a list or a topic and then use that topic to write the script. I really also like how I feel like there's more to the prompt. Like all of this stuff. This was all not added into it, so it kind of messed up this. Okay, here we go. There we go. That's much better. That's much better. Because I want these themes. These themes are awesome, where it's like the meaning of life, pain versus joy, the ridiculousness of humanity, aging, regret, and memory, love, failure, and belief. Like I love these like themes are like really good. So intro, main conversation, wrap it up. Can you do just like 10 minutes for that too? And then character notes, examples, the patio thoughts at the end of time, Luscious hates holidays, the one about soup, the debate whether soup is comforting or depressing, and spiral into a talk about emotional vulnerability. Yes, this is awesome. The conversation starter section, they can configure out how you create yes, so theoretically, these conversation things are like, yes, you can style them, and I could say here, give me a list of themes to explore, to write, to pick one as a topic, then create a script where death, nah, write an episode about, nah, and then I really just wanted to give me a list of themes, which is going to be awesome. And then I could upload other ones, but nah, it should be pretty good. So now, if we create this, well, we always want to test it. Boop, give me a list of themes. Absolutely, here's the list of themes: everyday oddities, emotional politics of soup, the sacredness of naps, rainy days, and the myth of productivity. Big existentials, the meaning of life or that lack thereof. Yes, this is perfect. Okay, cool. And then, so we're going to create this. Perfect. It's only for me. And then definitely going to pay to put this on the one. Okay, so perfect. So now the GPT is done. So we can go over here to our custom GPT bot and Tea with Trouble. And we'll pick, now it's ready. So one button, boom, give me a list of topics. Oh, this is so efficient now. Nice. Nice. Nostalgia of a liar, the glorious mess of wanting things, loneliness and being alone, the drama of silence, New Year's, same hot mess, who invented Mondays, can we fire them, cult of productivity. Oh, I think we may do cult of productivity. Anyways, love is weird and gross. What if you're not quote unquote special, and why it might be a feeling? Okay, I think that's a good one. Regret is just a memory. We'll just pick this one. I like do a episode about this topic. So now it's gonna write the scripts. Tea with Trouble. What if you're not special, and why that may be kind of nice. And I think, yeah, so 11 Labs is going to be able to pick up the difference between both of them. I don't need the sections parts, so don't mention, we'll cut that out, but that's pretty dope. Okay, so now we are ready for episode 3, ladies and gentlemen. Ready? What's up, Sharon? We're bringing everyone caught up to our 3-part series that we've done so far with Tea with Trouble. And we are now ready for episode 3. Here we go. I really want music for this too.
Have you ever wondered what immortal beings think about while watching humanity stumble through existence? Today, we're exploring a fascinating conversation that feels like eavesdropping on 2 cosmic entities having their nightly tea.
That's such an intriguing way to frame this discussion. The way these beings observe humanity reminds me of anthropologists studying a fascinating but perplexing culture.
Well, you know what really strikes me about their perspective? The way they've witnessed countless human lives unfold, yet still manage to find meaning in our smallest moments. Like that woman who spent 60 years tending her garden and died surrounded by dahlias and grandkids.
And then there's the contrasting story about the man who spent 40 years chasing success only to feel empty when he achieved it. It really highlights their different ways of seeing human existence.
You know what's fascinating? The way they represent these 2 fundamental approaches to understanding life. Like, Leela finds beauty in what others might dismiss as mundane, while Lucius maintains this facade of cosmic cynicism that keeps cracking at the edges.
Speaking of their dynamic, what do you make of their ongoing debate about whether soup is judgmental? It's simultaneously absurd and deeply meaningful.
Oh my goodness. Exactly. It's like they're using these seemingly trivial arguments to explore deeper truths about authenticity and pretense. And isn't it interesting how they've developed this sort of domestic routine while literally watching the universe unfold?
Well, that really speaks to the heart of their relationship. The way they've created this intimate space within their cosmic role.
And you know what really gets me? That metaphor about life being like a rusted swing set. A little creaky, kind of dangerous, but still worth sitting on if you've got someone who won't let it tip over. It's such a perfect encapsulation of how we all need connection to face life's uncertainties.
That reminds me of studies showing how social support literally affects our survival rates. Humans with strong relationships live significantly longer than isolated individuals.
So true. And it's fascinating how they describe themselves as making a full brain together.
So true.
Half delusion, half doom. and just enough sarcasm to keep the void entertained. It's like they've found this perfect balance between optimism and realism.
The way they challenge each other's perspectives while maintaining this deep affection really demonstrates the importance of intellectual friction in relationships.
This is deep.
You know, their whole dynamic reminds me of research, showing how couples who engage in playful banter and philosophical discussions tend to have longer-lasting relationships. It's like they've figured out this eternal dance between challenging and supporting each other.
That's such an interesting connection. How even immortal beings seem to need someone who understands their jokes and calls them out on their nonsense.
And isn't that ultimately what makes this conversation so powerful? The suggestion that whether you're a cosmic being or just a regular person trying to make sense of existence, we all need someone to share the journey with. Someone who
She's so
sees through
compassionate.
our pretenses, but chooses to stay anyway.
Well, that really brings us full circle to why they keep watching humanity, doesn't it? Despite all our fumbling attempts to figure life out, there's something compelling about our persistent effort to connect and understand.
Exactly right. And maybe that's the most profound insight of all. That even in the face of eternity, it's these small moments of connection and understanding that give meaning to existence. Whether you're sharing tea on a cosmic porch, or just trying to navigate your own little corner of the universe.
She's so compassionate. She's so. That's the lie. She's like, so true. Yeah, I imagine them on a porch, like overlooking like a whatever, like a view, and they're just sitting there at tea, and they're just kind of like just there hanging out prolifically, just like enjoying each other's company while the world goes mad, and you're just like, ah. There's nowhere else they would rather be than here. I love the little heart. So now we've got basically episode 4 here, and then I'll do this one. I think this may work for episode here. Oops, docs.new. Oops, docs.new. I think we lost Bryce. This is the episode that he comes in. Well, John's not getting any AI sponsors now. Maybe 11 Loves will sponsor me next. We all have a sick humor. That's you have to. It's a bumpy short bus. Not many people have their seatbelts on. So this one's Tea. Okay, so this is Tea with Trouble, episode 4. So we're gonna save this. I know. I was like, yo, this is the only place on the internet where you can find this type of stuff. This is the peak of AI. Everyone's using ChatGPT as a therapist. We're using it for our own amusement. So here, now, what I kind of want to do is just, I kind of don't want any of these other stuff. Just kind of gets in the way. This. You really don't need any of that. That. Okay, cool. So this is episode 4. And then print PDF. Done. And then we go to here. And I want to export this. I liked episode 2. Episode 2 had like the best, like, you actually were learning a lot in episode 2. So we'll keep that as an element to it. So create podcast. We'll go back and upload. We'll do that to improve upon it. So this one's going to be episode here, because that would be dope if they learn life lessons from this. Conversation default, and then generate. And then while we go back to the custom GPT, I want it from the Tea with Trouble edit, I really want the show to be like very insightful. So we're going to go here, edit. Okay, so if we're going to edit the GPT, I'm going to have ChatGPT analyze this episode, and it was the most educational as well as entertaining. Extract that style to as a prompt for me to put in the GPT. So here, I think it was episode 2. Episode 2. Let me double check. It was episode 2. This because when she was talking about the brain and stuff like that, that was like super dope. I feel like it also changes some of it. It does change it. So depending on how you actually, that's interesting. It actually, because I was like, there's something different about each episode. So it actually does change the style of it, because this was the first one. That's very interesting. I want you to, okay. Instead, add a prompt to add just here for me to put in the GPT brain. Oops, did we mess up something? Wait a minute. What's going on here? Hold on. It just redid my prompt. Okay, wait, add a prompt here just for GPT brain. Okay, especially, so yeah, it's actually redoing. Okay, it's actually rewriting the prompt, which is, hold on, we're losing the original source here. I want this. This is what I want. This, we have to make our changes again. 10 minutes. I also tone, also here under tone, philosophical reflections, and also incredibly deep on topics that where it's educational as well too, about psychology, philosophy, and that's pretty good. And philosophy, the stats, and then let's see, what about stats? Cool. Okay, I think that is the line that we want to add here. Always start ambient. I also want them more sarcastic and more jabs at each other too. So that's going to be under here, same tone. They also they also roast each other with massive sarcasm, but a balance of compassion. Yes, much better. That's what we're missing. Yeah, those are the best things. And then we're going to give me a list of topics for new episodes, and then here, then update this. Yes, save this. Much better. Much better. Now we're cooking. All right, Tea with Trouble. Nice. And then, also one more thing. When it writes the scripts, I don't need the sections. Hold on here. So that's going to be here. when you write the scripts, just add the character name and script, not the section like intro, main, conversation, not the structure, header. I don't need that. Cool. Okay, cool. Always start with ambient intro. I don't need sound effects as well too. Just provide the script. Just provide the script and max out the token response. Cool. Much better. Much better. Okay, then we can update. All right, so little things. It's the little things in the prompting that make it better. This is the beauty really comes into the testing. Okay, cool. So every episode is going to get better the way we want it. Okay, so now from here, that was episode that. So this was episode 4. And then here we are ready for episode 4. Okay, now we're ready to cook. Here we go. All right, people, get your coffee and popcorn ready. Let's enjoy another show. I feel like there should be like music or like sound effects. Like they're on a patio, so I kind of want some patio ambience, like sound effects. Let's just try a little something here. Mad scientist. I know this is very mad scientist. Oh yeah, like something like that, or like that, or like, oh yeah, like something like that, because it needs a little like little ambience. Nope. Yeah. Yeah. That's where we're going. All right. Let's enjoy.
Being extraordinary is exhausting, isn't it? Recent studies show that 86% of young professionals report burnout from constantly trying to stand out. And today, we're exploring why being average might actually be the key to happiness.
That's quite a counterintuitive idea in our achievement-obsessed culture. The self-help industry alone is worth $11 billion, all built on the promise of becoming exceptional.
Well, here's what's fascinating. Research shows that people who embrace their ordinariness actually report higher levels of life satisfaction. It's like we've been running on this hamster wheel of exceptionalism. And for what?
You know what this reminds me of? The Japanese concept of ichigo ichi, finding beauty in life's ordinary moments.
Oh my goodness. Yes. And it connects perfectly to what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. This endless pursuit of the next big achievement that never actually makes us happier. Like, did you know that after reaching a certain income level, about $75,000 annually, additional money barely impacts day-to-day happiness?
That's actually bringing up something interesting about how we view success in modern society. The rise of hustle culture has increased anxiety rates by 40% in the past decade.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Studies show that people who pursue meaning over achievement report 30% higher life satisfaction scores. It's not about being the best. It's about being present.
So what does that actually look like in practice? This pressure-free existence?
Well, think about it like this. Instead of turning every hobby into a side hustle, which, by the way, 45% of millennials feel pressured to do, we could just enjoy things. Recent research shows that people who engage in activities purely for pleasure show significantly lower cortisol levels.
That's making me think about how social media has transformed ordinary activities into performance art.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And the data backs this up. People spend an average of 147 minutes daily curating their online presence. That's like, what, 2.5 hours we could spend actually living instead of documenting.
Those numbers are actually pretty staggering when you think about it.
Right? And here's another mind-blowing statistic. 72% of people report feeling like they're not living up to their potential. But what if our potential isn't about being extraordinary? What if it's about being authentically, unapologetically average?
That's bringing up something fascinating about the psychology of contentment versus achievement.
Exactly. Studies in positive psychology show that people who embrace their ordinariness report 40% higher rates of self-acceptance. It's like this beautiful paradox. When we stop trying to be special, we become more authentically ourselves.
The ambience is
You
awesome.
know what's interesting about that? The correlation between social media use and decreased life satisfaction scores.
Oh, the numbers are wild. For every hour spent comparing ourselves to others online, there's a measurable 13% drop in self-reported happiness. But when people engage in simple, ordinary activities, like having coffee with friends or reading a book, their happiness metrics actually increase by 25%.
That's quite a significant difference in terms of mental well-being outcomes.
And here's what really blows my mind. Research shows that people who consider themselves ordinary are actually more likely to take positive risks, try new things, and form deeper relationships. It's like removing the pressure to be exceptional frees up all this emotional energy for actual living.
So essentially, we're talking about a complete paradigm shift in how we view success and fulfillment.
Exactly. And the data supports this. Communities that value collective well-being over individual achievement show 60% higher rates of reported life satisfaction. It's not about lowering our standards. It's about changing what we value.
These findings really challenge our cultural narrative about success.
They do. And you know what's fascinating? Studies show that people who embrace their ordinariness are actually more likely to make meaningful contributions to their communities. They're less focused on standing out and more focused on showing up.
That's actually quite revolutionary when you think about it.
Well, here's the really beautiful part. Research indicates that accepting our ordinariness reduces anxiety by up to 47%. It's like giving ourselves permission to be human instead of superhuman. And isn't that what we all really need?
Those numbers really put things into perspective.
They do. And as we wrap up, here's something to think about. 89% of people report feeling relieved when they let go of the pressure to be extraordinary. Maybe that's the real achievement. Finding peace in being perfectly, wonderfully average.
Now that's quite a powerful way to reframe success.
Well, as the data shows, sometimes the most extraordinary thing we can do is embrace our ordinariness. And in a world obsessed with standing out, maybe that's exactly the revolution we need.
The ambiance is awesome. That's a perfect addition. Awesome. They're a little too statistical, a little too nerdy, but like, oh yeah, and then let's catch up everyone who's like, what the did I just walk in on? This is a new podcast series called Tea with Trouble, and so it's basically a dialogue between Britain or Leela, who's basically almost like a yoga instructor, but she's like super blissful, super happy, she's super curious about life, and then Mr. D, who's just like always miserable, always like just sarcastic, always just wants to like rip on anything, and then they just love each other's company, and then they go deep into basically have a good night, Nasya, and then they go deep into like topics around philosophy, life, and they just contemplate each other all. I think I need a little more bickering between them. I need them to kind of like, I want them to lay in on each other a little more. The ambiance was a really good ad. Have a good night, Nasya. Very, very interesting. So, night. And then right back. This is really nice. I like this. We kind of need also like a chime or some sound effect to play towards the end. That would be later into the next one. Okay, so here, what we're going to do. Okay, so I want more humor. They're too agreeing. They're just like saying facts, which is like meh. I want them more. I want silly and thoughtful. Can I just type? I want them to just talk shit too. Like, I really want them to like be more. Yeah, so it's basically what we're doing is we're writing the script in GPT, and then we're giving it to 11 Labs, and 11 Labs has the ability to do a podcast where you can select any two characters, and it will automatically detect character 1 versus character 2, and then it will basically go into it. Bjorn, welcome. To spend a whole day talking about how to make money with AI, we are in a completely different side of TikTok right now. I need them more. I don't want silly. I want more humor. More humor and thoughtful. But I want them to like really roast each other. They roast each other with sarcasm, and this is what is the balance of compassion. That was good. I just want them to roast each other too, and sometimes disagree while being a smartass. Yeah, that's what I want there. And then nice. Okay, so now perfect. So now we're gonna update that. Getting better. What's up? So we're using custom GPT to create a entertaining podcast between a yoga instructor and the devil in the most nicest way, shortest way. It's like, gotta bounce, slay on, have fun, Sarah. I'm gonna do another episode, and then we'll take a break. So let's do one more episode. Give me some topics. Mind blowing. The one starts with the rain. Curse health plants. The time we tried to meditate. I like that. Oh, I like this. The time we tried to meditate. Lucius attempts to sit still, and Leela ascends, and chaos ensures. Yes, make this episode. So make this episode. Perfect. Oh, this is so easy now. And then here, okay, submit. So now it's going to write the script. Nice. This will be the last episode, and then we'll take a break. Awesome. So basically, we are using ChatGPT and custom GPTs, the skills that everyone in the community now has. And then also, it's like everyone's so serious with trying to make money with AI and like AI for business and all that. Have fun with the tools. Have fun for your own enjoyment. I've had so much fun creating this series. And this was just a random whatever, because this side, we'll call it side quest that we just created this podcast. It was from an original side quest where I was writing a science fiction audiobook. So this will technically be my second science fiction audiobook, which we finished last night. I just have to add music and then upload it. So I'm going to do that. I'll do that right now as well too, while it's like rendering. Okay, so the script is done. So now we have this will be episode 5. I really want them like a little more prolific. Okay, so here, perfect. And then we don't need sound effects. I need to remove the sound effects that it's doing. Yeah, we don't need sound effects here. Also trying to train the GPT to give me the perfect script as well too. So we're going to go here and go edit. My computer is cooking. Hope everyone's having a good night. Having fun with AI. So here, do not add sound effect lines. That's pretty cool. What's up, Alfredo? I had someone reach out, but they wanted voice, but we're not there yet. We'll get there with voice. And then hopefully this Saturday, I'm going to do a VAPI demo on how to do AI with voice or phone calls. That's going to be nice. And right now we're finishing a bot for our new custom TV or show for Tea with Trouble. Super entertaining. Like, this is super awesome. And then here we're finishing this episode, which is what's called The Time We Tried to Meditate. So docs.new episode 5. I feel like it's probably episode 6, but that works too. Okay, so file, make sure we got everything. Yep, that's good. Episode 5. Working out. No, you're cooking. You are cooking. Hey, Bryce, actually from Closebots was actually on the live stream maybe 40 minutes ago, give or take. Very interesting. Shout out to Richard for inviting him. Very, very awesome. The world gets smaller. We are only 6 degrees away from everything that you want. Oh, I like the water. It's a little too distracting though. This has turned out to be the best. So let me save this for sound effects. So I'm going to save this in podcast things. I'll put it here for sound effects. Slowly building the show. We're going to have a full podcast by the time this is done by the end of the week. Okay, so now we're going to do 11 labs. We're going to create a podcast. Upload. I think this one's going to be better. Let's see, between Brittany and Mr. D and Cook. Okay, it's in the oven. Nice. Let me know if you guys have any other AI questions. These are the types of skill sets and things you learn inside the AI community. By the way, join the AI community. We are pushing the boundaries. This Saturday in the AI community, we're going to have a workshop on how to build an AI voice agent that can answer calls, answer questions, book appointments, pretty much become an AI receptionist. Because if you're missing phone calls, you're missing sales. And so that's what we're going to build Saturday. Tomorrow, I have an AI for social media research that, oh man, I'm not even prepared for. I got to do some more. I'll do some more research for tomorrow. It's basically create content, go live. It's like the main thing. So some of the most important parts. Nice. And then I bought the subscription to GenSpark. So GenSpark, if you haven't played with GenSpark is actually, I don't want to say, it's not that it's not better than Manus, but it's more versatile than Manus. So if like anything that you want to give to Manus is going to be too expensive and also gonna like it's like too complex, and then you're gonna burn through credits. GenSpark is another one that's actually a little bit better, I would say. So highly recommend playing with GenSpark so that you have, it's almost like an AI research assistant that can do what Manus does but cheaper, but it's still not as thorough as Manus. Like Manus is like a Manus is like a level 4. GenSpark is like a level 3.5. Very interesting. Okay, last episode. This is gonna be interesting. Okay, so we can do this. And then here. And play. Okay.
Meditation. That thing everyone says will change your life. But what if the real transformation happens when we completely fail at it? Today, we're exploring how spectacularly wrong meditation can go, and why that might actually be the point.
You know what's fascinating about meditation? The way it seems to expose every single thing we're trying to avoid.
Well, I recently came across this incredible story about two friends who decided to try meditation together, and it perfectly captures that exact dynamic. One of them found this vintage meditation tape at a thrift store, promising eternal stillness in 7 minutes, which, let's be honest, sounds either miraculous or deeply suspicious.
7 minutes to enlightenment. That's quite the ambitious timeline.
Right? And what happened next was like watching two completely different experiments unfold. While one of them slipped into this beautiful meditative state, the other one, well, they described it as being frozen in emotional paralysis.
So what exactly goes through someone's mind during these 7 minutes of attempted enlightenment?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. One of them reported having this ethereal conversation with the concept of time itself, who apparently was wearing a very chic beret, while the other one's mind went from "my foot is asleep" to "why do humans have so many bones?" to Googling whether enlightenment counts as a tax write-off.
That progression sounds painfully familiar to anyone who's ever tried to quiet their mind.
And here's what I find fascinating. They described silence as being actively suspicious, like it's not just quiet, but lurking there, waiting to ambush you with every poor life choice you've ever made. They compared it to being alone in a room with your Google search history.
That's such a visceral way of describing meditation anxiety. How did they handle that discomfort?
Well, one of them suggested that the other just needed to let go of the void, like a balloon, which prompted the response that Peace had borrowed money in 1347 and never paid it back. I mean, talk about creative resistance to tranquility.
You know what's really striking about this? The way it highlights our different relationships with stillness.
Exactly. And one of them made this incredibly insightful observation, that the other wasn't actually allergic to stillness. They just seemed to think that if they stopped moving, the world would catch up to them. The response? Or worse, it won't.
That's such a profound observation about why we might resist meditation. How did they move forward from there?
Well, that's where it gets even more interesting. One threatened to play the meditation tape, while the other slept, which led to a counter-threat involving the replacement of all tea with instant decaf.
They need to bitter
But beneath
more.
that playful resistance, there was this beautiful acknowledgement.
They need to do a little bit more with in the GPT. What's up, Q? Good to see ya. They need to be more like a relationship bickering. That's where the dynamic is. So that's the tone, the themes. I think if I put it here. Okay, pretty good. Do you guys have any